This is Tonight. I'm Bruce Whitfield. Welcome to the show. Well, Thuli Madonsela, the public protector, has been putting a brave face on some recent high-profile resignations from her office. Both the chief executive and the chief financial officer have announced that they are going to better opportunities. Good evening and welcome to the show. From Cape Town this evening is South Africa's public protector, Thuli Madonsela. Thuli, nice to see you this evening. Thanks for coming on. You've been talking in the last couple of days to various provincial governments. Is provincial government operating as it should?
Yes, I have been speaking to government as a whole. However, we've started with provincial governments in Gauteng and the Western Cape.
These are the two most important, of course, economic areas in South Africa, along possibly with the Durban sort of area. Give me a sense of the sort of feedback you're getting from provincial governments.
The feedback has been extremely positive. The focus of our dialogue this year is joining hands in partnership against maladministration and corruption. The response we have received from government is that government is willing to join hands with us. Secondly, we've been talking about the interpretation of the Constitution. What does the Constitution mean when it says the public protector has the power to investigate, report, and take appropriate remedial action? The answer has been yes. The understanding is that it means the public protector must investigate, make findings, and fix the problem, and that they will work with us in fixing the problem.
Well, that's encouraging to hear, because it's been less encouraging in recent weeks, of course, with the Deputy Defence Minister, Kepe Mapatswe, who accused you of being a CIA spy. You threw the gauntlet back at him, gave him 3 days to withdraw. At first, he denied that he'd made the allegation, and then he withdrew the allegation, which he denied making in the first place. What's your assessment, looking back at the last week or so, of the noise that has been around the allegations?
Well, the allegations were quite shocking and unfortunate, and I am aware that the minister has withdrawn. However, we're still evaluating the adequacy of his letter, and I will communicate with him as soon as that process has been completed. But regarding how the public has reacted to it, I would say my team feels affirmed in that the people did not buy into that notion. In fact, a lot of people on Twitter are calling us a corruption investigation agency.
Now, I mean, but the damage is done here. You've got a deputy minister in government who is making an allegation which is incapable of substantiating. Are you willing to let it ride, or may you take further action to maybe prevent people from making spurious allegations in the future?
I didn't let it ride, and I couldn't let it ride because the allegation is not only contemptuous in terms of Section 9 of the Public Protector Act, but it's a serious allegation that I'm a foreign agent, which means that I could be guilty of treason. In fact, my team assessed it to constitute hate speech. That's why I asked him to retract and apologize unconditionally or provide the evidence. I will now assess whether he has complied with the request. If he has complied, proceed. If he hasn't complied, I will then determine what is the next step.
I mean, is it ever acceptable for somebody in any position of authority, in a position of power, in any context, to make an unsubstantiated allegation like this?
Well, it's shocking. You would expect that people understand that in terms of Section 181 of the Constitution, those in government have a responsibility to support an institution such as the Public Protector to make sure that its dignity is respected and that it is effective and is able to do its work. In terms of ordinary law, you can't just go around accusing people of high treason or insult people without any basis for doing that. That's why I took issue with the minister or the deputy minister concerned on this matter, and I am prepared to deal with it until its ultimate conclusion. I have also written to Parliament and to the President to ask ministers and members of Parliament to refrain from insulting me and from making baseless accusations against me. If they have anything that can be substantiated, there are channels in government to deal with it. The Law Society issued a statement asking them to stop making these scurrilous accusations, and if they have legitimate concerns about anything, to follow proper procedures.
When you look at the context in which the comments were made, do you see it as part of an orchestrated anti-public protector stroke anti-Thuli Madonsela campaign, or is it the isolated rantings of an individual?
I wish I knew what really is behind it. What I do know, though, is that these allegations, spy allegations, have been known to me for 6 weeks, and that people are peddling them. I just decided to leave it to them until they felt it necessary to go public with them. But I knew that they were whispering to innocent people down there and spreading these lies to people. I'm glad they've finally gone public, and people can then get them in an open platform to tell the truth.
That suggests that there is an orchestrated campaign. If the whisperings were happening 6 weeks ago and then it came out at a funeral over the weekend, it does suggest that this is a very deliberate, planned and premeditated assault on your integrity.
Well, clearly somebody planned it, and I do have the evidence of it. But who is behind it and how big is the group? I don't have full information.
Is this gradually undermining the ability of the Office of the Public Protector to function? We have seen in recent weeks the resignation of your Chief Financial Officer and the resignation of your Chief Executive. Both of these officials in very high positions resigning publicly, they say, because they've had better offers. Is there any sense within the Office of the Public Protector that it is just becoming an unbearable place to work, that you're under continual barrage of assault from so many different quarters?
No, not really. The biggest problem that will cause me to continue to lose people is resources. People are being asked to do impossible things under enormous pressure, and the salaries that we're paying for CEO and CFO are below market value. We've also lost the provincial representative in the Western Cape, who is also going on exactly the same date as the other two. All three of them got much better offers than what we could give them.
Are these offers from the private sector or offers from the public sector?
I'm not at liberty at the moment to discuss where they are going. I think when the time is right, they themselves will announce. Perhaps when we host their parting party, they may want to tell the public where they're going if they feel like doing so. It would be improper for me to break the news without their permission.
All I'm trying to assess is whether or not there is a move within elements of the public sector to undermine the Office of the Public Protector by poaching within government circles, for example, staff from an institution which is proving to be perhaps far too effective for some people's liking.
Not really. I just think people go out there to look for better offers for themselves, having indicated really that they deserve better. All of my provincial representatives, for example, have indicated that being paid at the salary of a director is inadequate, and I agree. A CFO at the level of a chief director is unusual these days because most of them are at a level of a DDG. The CEO at the level of a DDG should be at the level of a DG.
Okay, so it's a financial decision. You don't see anything untoward then in the moves and the coincidence of three senior officials all moving on the same date?
Not really, but I do see a link between people leaving my office and others intending to leave my office because of stress. There are those who have indicated in their exit papers that they've left because of the impossible demands that are being made on them. Gauteng, for example, there's 11 investigators. If we hire the two people into the 2 vacancies, there would be 13 investigators for 3,000 cases. Western Cape, 1,400 cases, 11 investigators. National, there are also problems. CEO doesn't have a manager in his office. It is a very difficult environment to work with when it comes to resources.
And you don't have the luxury of cherry picking the cases that you decide to investigate. You're obliged by law to investigate all complaints that are made to you.
No, we do have the discretion. However, that discretion has to be exercised within the confines of Section 182 of the Constitution, which requires the public protector to be accessible to all persons and communities. If we're not going to investigate your matter, it should be either because we don't have the mandate to investigate, or we know of another institution, internal or external, that can handle your matter. But we can't just not investigate when there's no one else that can assist you with the same kind of remedies that we have as the public protector.
You are 5 years into a 7-year non-renewable contract. That is the terms and conditions that apply to the appointment of the public protector. Is there any get-out clause for you? And if you had a get-out clause, would you want to get out, or do you remain committed to continue serving until 2016?
Incidentally, I had my own get-out clause, because I haven't stayed in a position for more than 5 years. I thought I would have served my purpose within 5 years in terms of growing and working together with my team, and also ensuring that the place of the institution is taken to the next level as my predecessors had done. Unfortunately, there's been all of these controversies that have created still confusion, which makes me want to stay and serve my term right until October 2016.
So will you stay till October 2016? Is that a commitment?
For the sake of every Gogodlamini out there, I will stay until the 14th of October 2016.
I'm going to put that in my diary just to make sure that you don't take an opt-out before then, Thuli Madonsela. How are you coping personally with this barrage of attacks that come at you on a regular basis? You strike me as somebody who operates in an environment where you don't let ego get in the way of the allegations. You seem to allow the allegations to wash over you.
Well, yes, eventually I do that. But when I first get some of these things, I'm obviously shocked because I'm human. And then I process it and understand that when people act out of fear, whether that fear is justified or not, they may do things that are not justified.
Thuli Madonsela, South Africa's public protector, thank you very much for joining us this evening on the line to us from Cape Town. Thuli Madonsela committing on the show tonight that she will see out her contract to the 14th of October 2016. There was a suggestion that she might call it a little bit earlier than that, but thank you to Thuli Madonsela for giving up her time this evening to join us on Tonight with Bruce Whitfield, and thank you for watching. There'll be more Tonight tomorrow. Till then, good night and goodbye.